Genesis 4:24. If Cain is avenged 7 times, then Lamech 77 times. Wow. That's so arrogant, right? He's so arrogant, and but what kind of avenger? What kind of avenger Cain got it? Someone if killed Cain, then God said you're gonna curse 7 times. Get a curse from 7 times. Well, you get killed 7 times. That means I live 6 more times, right? Even pain, but I still live 6 more times. Do I care? Right here, I think those things means you. That's what I think. I think God allow him to say so. It's showed his very important level. And also from the reverse engineer, I saw probably to destroy modernized culture is the way to basically to destroy or to get a curse. If the will get a curse, because modernized civilization built upon the engineer, built upon the real estate, finance, built on the music, the media, all those things. And all those things be despair. Stop. Okay. Yeah, all those things be destroyed, then I think the God's plan will be destroyed. So that someone will receive 77 times more curse. Also, when he said something due to Lamech, it's not necessarily due to Lamech himself. It's due to Lamech's bloodline, due to Lamech. Okay. Genesis 4:25. Adam lay with his wife again, and she gave birth to a son, and named him Seth, saying, God has granted me another children in place of Abel, since Cain killed him. Seth also had a son, and he named him Enosh. At that time, man began to call on the name of the Lord. So this ends the chapter 4. But I'm kind of like see the really interesting parts about the God's plan, because says in here, based on his name, based on his Hebrew meaning, based on the way it was recorded, there is nothing like Cain, right? Cain, God loved him, and the Cain built a city, but Seth has nothing. I would say like Seth more like a rich second generation. He's more spoiled. So because when you born with certain hope, and you are the replacement of Abel, and the parents, they have the guilty of the Abel, about the Abel, so they put this double love or those kind of feeling on you. Actually, you spoiled, and you not grow as Seth. You grow as the replacement of Abel, so you don't have independent personality and a character. So it's very unfair to have that kind of a replacement. I had a dog, passed away. Then I have another dog, but I don't want to have the same dog, because the thing is, it's unfair to the second dog. The second dog should have own individual character, individual life, instead of I'm molding this dog to a certain way. I wanted you to be the replacement as my first dog in order for me to memorize my first dog, right? It's very unfair. And when I compare the apple to apple, or compare this dog to another dog, I found something, if happy, well, what should I say? If I find not happy, not satisfied, I will have a double dissatisfied. So, don't ever use that kind of mentality. Replace a dead people, replace something with something. It just starts a new life, start the new things. Also, in here, nothing recorded as a says. So he basically just pass away as a name, you know, and not even leave any kind of like a Cain's kids. They have all the achievement, all the character, nothing, just a kid be there. And but he has a kid also, like this kind of father, since he's a failure life, so his kids Enosh also a failure, because Enosh it's a failure. Starts a truly model which you totally separate yourself with God. You make yourself a total different life. Even it's the beginning of the model life, but you separate with God, so you separate with heavens. And see, after that, it said people truly start to invoke, calling God's name Jehovah. But think about it, why they need to call Jehovah, call God's name, if there is only one God. You don't need to. Like when I was a kid, if just my parents, dad, mom, right, and grandpa, grandma, I even don't know the name until there are a lot of people, until there's social needs, and I would say, oh, I need to know my dad's name. People ask, what's your dad's name? So I'll start to thinking, firstly, it could be that time, a lot of heavens, they start to come down to the earth to interact with people. They are the gods, but they are different than the God at the beginning who has they start this project, which means the previous CEO, right? So these people's project manager or these kind of VP or board member, they treat people like a shit. So that's the point. People feel like, well, we're missing our old CEO who has a better way to treat us. So at this point, people start to calling God. I saw these two lines. One is the Cain line. One is the Seth line. Cain line extended a couple hundred years, 1,000 years, right? Because he has 7 generations, 8 generations, and he conquered a lot of land. He achieved a lot of music, everything. But for Seth, nothing. Just a son, Enosh, and Enosh is just failure, truly model. That's it. That's end up right there. I don't know if God foresee this, so he just give away this bloodline or not. But I highly suspect at the very far beginning of the human being, our gene could be predicted. It's kind of like it's more simple or easy way when you kind of start at the beginning of the mutation or beginning of the gene. It shows probably only certain ways. Then after that, it's more and more complicated. You can predict 2, 4, 8, 16, but after that, when it goes more and more generations, all the exchange, all the switch, all the mutation makes it's way too complicated to control. So that's, I think, God at the beginning made a fast selection. Even Abel made him happy. He loved what Abel gave to him. But you know what? I saw your bloodline. It's not worthy to invest. So just I let the Cain wipe you out. That's what I feel. Yeah, I really think about the chapter 4, especially after this sentence. I found a very interesting thing is Eve, the mother of all beings. Every time she kind of name her son, well, that's the God gave me. That's God gave me a boy. God gave me a boy to replace someone. But you know what, end up a really interesting ending. First, she named Cain, right? Well, that's God gave me that boy. But you know what? The boy killed her another boy. Then she named another boy. Well, that's the appointed one. That's the replacement because of something. You know what? This boy is the second rich generation. Didn't do anything good, and sure didn't do anything bad, really bad, but it's just worthless. So I would think a lot of time, parents, we should not kind of put too much expectation or just use our willing power to define the next generation, because they have their own freedom. If you put too much willing power or try to define them, that limits their capability. Also, just like a quantum theory, you call it, you talk it, you bring it, but actually, you know what, by the end it go opposite way. So that's what I realized. Also, another thing is this one never, I just wonder, because there are like three parties, right? One party is God, one party is human being. Also, another party is the heavens. Another party like a serpent, like Lucifer, like those parties. See, in here, I didn't see, after a couple hundred years, even thousands years, the development, it didn't seem like a Lucifer or another heaven party was involved in this kind of in the human development. So maybe they just send the people or send the heavens, whatever, to all the settlements, do a little bit involvement with them. So that bring up a lot of mythology, a lot of Asian story. That's, I think, those kind of, maybe there are stories, but it didn't see much. Only the most involvement is God. He's at the beginning, he sabotaged this project by bringing the death, give the warning, which means he break the rule of the fairness. And so I highly think the result he's a sabotage. Right. Also, when he pick up a Cain, he basically he give the hint, give the tips to Cain. So Cain eliminated the Abel, right? Actually, he wants to eliminate it, but he cannot do it. He cannot physically or personally to do it. So he let the Cain as his knife to cut it, to beat the Abel to death. So he basically involved the testing result. Same thing, after Cain left the settlement, expelled, he helped the king to build a city. That's a big achievement. And other side, like a two parallel line. One is Adam, one son, then Adam after son says, then they are nothing. They went blank, air, just like Abel, air. So at the very far beginning means this bloodline means nothing. Another side is a Cain. That's all murder, a murder, a conspiracy, full of a lust or ambition. This line, and God bless this line. So it's kind of against the moral, or against those kind of, we understand that God is a kind, nice, generous. No, he's not. He only bless or only give favor to he likes. But also from another point, I think about, it's not necessary. You know what? There is no difference between the red rats or black rats, white rats or yellow rats. No big difference, because all rats for him. He can favor any rats. We all lab rats. The reason why God didn't do anything, I think the fruit, the wisdom fruit, it's not like it's not from the very far beginning, Adam, right after they ate it, it will show wisdom, or the wisdom will not reach the peak. I think after Adam and Eve, they ate the fruit, the wisdom will gradually showed, and after Cain, passed down to Cain, passed down to Enoch, passed down to Lamech. So the whole wisdom will gradually showed to show the trends. So when you collect data, when you see something, you need a time period to make a sample to make an assessment. You can do some modification at the very far beginning, just like a God at the very far beginning eliminate the Abel because of a certain sign. He just sure it's the bad sign for the in future, but so he wants Cain to do it. So doesn't matter Cain is a murderer or whatever. It doesn't matter to him. So he just want him to gradually let the wisdom fruit to grow. So pass down to next generation to see the difference. That's why I think we are guinea pigs. Okay, I clearly know we are guinea pigs. Oh, I just realized the last sentence talk about people invoke God, the Lord's name, right? So my question is, firstly, God never mentioned by his name before. Later he said I'm Alpha, I'm Omega, but they never mentioned his name is Jehovah. I don't want to use other outside the Bible as a reference, because it's since you are Bible, you itself, only this book was considered God's breeze, right? So you should just use this book or statement to do the analysis. So firstly, it didn't really mention about God's name. Secondly, why people calling God's name at this stage? So I think the reason is, firstly, people, there are so many gods. So they try to figure out their God, the name of the previous owner, previous landlord. So that's the one they believe, they think can help them. So maybe from some other heavens or gods, they knew that's the God's name, this one's name. Also another thing is why they believe when they call God's name will help them. It might be a kind of like a dog fights. It's territory, this is my settlement, this is my project, this is what I do, and don't compromise my test or my experimental things too much. So that's between gods. And I believe if people call the God's name, and God have to, or he will, got maybe discussion with another God, or they will solve the issue at least from certain points. Otherwise, think about it. Humans are very, very realistic animal. If God's name is useless, why should I call it, right? At least in Buddhism, you need to read a spell or read Namo Amitabha, those kind of name, the Buddha's name, because they believe keep reading will bring them to the heaven, the peaceful world. So same thing here, unless they believe, but where the idea belief came from? I think because either they saw other gods, other tribe, whatever, called other gods, or other gods' response, so made things happen. So they believe this God will make things happen also. So I think humans are we follow the examples. So that example made them believe. You call Jehovah's name, Jehovah will show up. That explains why there are so many gods after the Bali or whatever, all kinds of gods. I think that explains everything. Here I realize it's very important to think about the God's name. Because firstly, let's back to the beginning. Name. Who gave God this name? Before I answer this question, usually, okay, who gave you your name? Mostly your parents, right? Your higher than you who give you the name. Why they give you the name? Easy one, to identify you, to separate you from others, right? Secondly, they have a certain expectation, so they put the meaning into this name, right? That's basically that's the name, and how they gonna use the name? One written, one what? Spell it, say it. So that's the name. When you have same thing, then now we back to God. So who give God's name? Well, could God just he named himself? Yes, it could be. It's possible. But why God named him this way, Yahweh? So is Yahweh has meaning of something? We don't know. I don't know. Also, since God named him Yahweh, which means the letters, the songs, those things were created, right? Were created before he realized he needs a name. What do you think of God very far beginning when he was born or created by himself? Then he said, my name is Yahweh. It's very unreal. So God needs some kind of structure, some kind of system to find out, to take this name. Also, why God need a name? Even you say God, there is no parents for God, but why he needs a name? To separate between him and other gods? I don't know, just why? If just only one God. And what's the point to have this name? Is that universal rule, principle? Every creature, you have to have a unique symbol, unique code, something. At this point, I realized Nikola Tesla, he is kind of like, he found the truth of universe, frequency, everything but frequency. So when Buddhism, they have the very strong spell, the 6 letters, Om Mani Padme Hum, that's all the universal song. It explains all the song of life and death, grow, everything collapse. Also, same thing, I believe Yahweh, the song, may not complete like a Yahweh. It just sounds close. Kind of like you, I don't think God will give you true name, or even he give you a true name, I don't think we can make sounds right. So the frequency of his song mapping him or make him figure out or find out who's calling, to connect him and us. That's called karma, or should I call cause and consequence, or shall we call like a quantum tangling? That's what I think. Because when people invoke his name begging him, ask him his help, he has to. The reason is because there is a cause and a consequence. He has to. He connected it to this frequency, to this name, and why he wants more and more people knew him, call his name, and even in the later Bible said doesn't matter the reason the reason you spreading the gospel, as long the name was spread, everybody is good. So he wants something bigger. That's kind of match with the another issue is you chanting, everybody chanting, a lot of people chanting, more and more people chanting his name. The frequency getting stronger and stronger. So his force or his energy is getting stronger. That's what I believe. So in here, I realize from the name, invoke the name itself, that structure, I think God has a limitation. Because if nobody call his name or call other God's name, then he will be eliminated within the time. That's the universal rule, because all frequency has energy, right? You need a starting point, you need a source to start this frequency. But when you have the wave, you need a continuation. So when you have the same, you have the name call again and again, it's make synchronized harmony, getting stronger and stronger. So, but if you don't have anything added into it, within the time it will fading. So that's the reason later God been asking for great commission. You have to go to spread his name all over the land. I feel that makes sense.